So please stick around. We've got loads of Magic still today. There's at least this plus 3 more matches.
Yeah, there's at least this and then the top 8 afterwards. So this is the final round of the Swiss. So a clean 8 rounds.
Yep.
144 players started the tournament today.
They did.
And then we will be cutting that down to 16. So we have a top 8 and then we have a chocolate top 8 as well, which is 9th through 16th. So even if you just about miss out, you're still going to have something that you can play for. And
we can talk a little bit about the top. So there's Leo Lu and actually who've already drawn against each other, which meant then you had our good friend Adam Bowers, who is 6-1, as he says, is opted for the draw because he wants to come 10th. And then I think really in reality, what happens, we don't know what they're doing, but I believe there'll probably be a couple of IDs there. But then because we've got two Thomases, Tom Law and Thomas Mason on 5-1 and 1, they ultimately have got winning-ins because obviously by playing, they're going to, essentially their win should get them in over anyone who ties. I don't think we're locked. Other than that, I don't think that means then 6-2 is out, which obviously has an outside shot. I think some weird things need to happen for 6-2 to get there.
Yeah, so we'll wait and see. We'll play this match, see who wins, and then wait and see what happens with the standings. We might even come to here in the booth while we have a look at Melee and try and figure out what's going on with everyone. So it looks like Tom is just going to be running Boros Energy, which we haven't actually seen that much of today, in all honesty.
No, it's been quite refreshing.
It has been on a downtick for a little while, but Ragavan meeting a prismatic ending, and we're actually having a second land, which hasn't been a dead cert today.
Yeah, like obviously when we talked to him in the break, for those of you around, like his hand in the game he lost against Goldie was like actually a great hand once they got one land, but when they whiffed for the third turn, they was in trouble. But here is a relatively new card, Voice of Victory. We do know Voice of Victory as a massive pain in the butthole. Let's go, Will. Let's start the chant there. Yes, let's keep that going in the chat. I don't know, Tom. If there was any Thomas Mason fans or anything I should know about their previous history or past. They seem like a nice person.
Well-known UK Magic grinder, very high-level player. Obviously, being 5-1 and 1 in a Mega Modern,
and a tank top is a strong look at any time of the day. So
I'm quite jealous, because it's getting quite warm in the coverage room.
And if you can pull one off like they are, I applaud them with a great applause. Balemerk though is a good card to pull here. Willie Hall, love that.
So
what are you picking up?
Overlord sees a Quantum Riddler and a Felia, and I'm 99.9% sure that Tom and Will are actually quite close, so we might see quite a bit of table chat. So these are the kinds of games where I'm really happy that we've got these face cams on, because we're going to see them staring each other down. Yeah.
Let us know what you think about the face cams, by the way. Like, obviously, we have added these today. We've got our own opinion about what we're going to do next, about like table layout and what you can see. But if you follow us on any of the socials or in the YouTube chats and the VODs afterwards, just drop us some feedback if you think there's anything in particular which would look great. Obviously, we're on Axion branding today, which is quite nice. And we will be redebuting the Get Your Deck Out branding from our next videos. And we got some pauper videos up on the channel right now from our more recent coverage. But yeah, we got some new branding to match our little blue and yellow theme there in the top right. And what's going on, Scott? I've just got a bit of a rant there.
Yeah, just a little bit. You're doing your content creator thing of shilling everything. But just an Ocelot Pride from Tom on 3 mana available. So the Arid Mesa, I assume, is going to go get an Elegant Parlor at some point. The Sacred Foundry sitting there seems to be ready for, I would assume, a Galvanic Discharge. We've got Quantum Riddler being played on Warp, so an Ephemerate here could be quite damaging. A Galvanic Discharge by itself, not enough to kill a 4/6. If there's 2 Galvanic Discharges, then that might be reasonable. But other than that,
I'd say so, yeah.
If this Riddler is getting Ephemerated, it's not. Okay, so it's just going away on exile. The Overlord's going to continue ticking down. and the Arid Mace is going to be cracked. I would assume for an Elegant Parlor here.
Feels like the direction to go to.
And Thraben Charm was the card sitting in hand, ready to interact. So destroy target enchantment is one of the modes on that card. Cleaning up the Overlord of the Belmuck.
How's it going, Thomas? In the YouTube, good to see you, Defos. Hope your Artisan Historic tournament is warming up. Not forgotten you if I'm really on today. I'm actually quite excited to look that up later and be like, is this a little niche thing that we need to do on the channel, like a battle off of the Artisan top decks?
There might be a world where you can pick the most niche formats known to man.
Yeah.
The running joke is Kamigawa block constructed tiny leaders or something, but
Thraben Charm might be Cavs, that's because you are a white weenie stan. We all know it. You pauper grinder you. I've been loving white weenie recently though, and I'm so excited to turn one Ornithopter Springleaf Drum into Spider-Man. That's just a pauper line that I can't wait for.
You upset me. So Fable of the Mirror Breaker played by Tom here with, honestly, we appreciate a flex, both of us. We know that. The Sacred Foundries from Tom.
Yeah.
Absolutely stunning.
Yeah.
Currently winning on that front. Custom Goblin Shaman token. Foil Fable of the Mirror Breaker. We are gaming. So,
what a slam dunk.
Witch Enchanter cleaning up the Fable of the Mirror Breaker here.
I have no allegiance to a deck and pauper. Fair. I love the slam though. That was I am not having this.
Yeah, that was pretty definitive. So Relica's the follow-up as well. Pretty nice. Can stop any Flage plays. So just trading the Goblin Shaman off. We have a treasure available in 3 mana. So I think there's an Ajani coming down here. Yes. And is that a Goblin Bombardment I spy? There is a Goblin Bombardment in hand. So it's all dependent on whether Tom wants to leave up anything. But nope, we're just going to go for the 1-2 punch, Goblin Bombardment plus Ajani, sacrificing that Cat Warrior token, flipping the Ajani, making another Cat Warrior, dealing another damage. Anyone think there's some legs in this Boros Energy deck?
It might be good. Someone better tell the top 8 to keep an eye out for this deck. It's always it always impresses me how it just pilots its way to victory through good value sometimes rather than just being aggro.
That's the power of Boros, right? Is you can have these aggro draws where you have Ocelot Pride and Guide of Souls and you just absolutely go off and make a billion tokens and kill them with a Goblin Bombardment all in one go. And then there are other situations where you just become an absolute grind fest. You've got Flages coming back out the graveyard acting as removal. Ajani plus Goblin Bombardment is acting as essentially a Fire Covenant, just a modal wrath.
Yeah.
Quantum Riddler is pretty difficult to kill with a Goblin Bombardment.
There's a Flage though.
Yeah, so Flage can deal 3 damage to it. We can 0 Ajani to make a Cat Warrior and deal 2 damage to it. And the extra ping with the Goblin Bombardment by sacrificing the Flage as well. And we still get in for 2. So Will played a 4/6 and it just died to damage.
Yeah, it just died, right? It's just crazy.
It very well may have drawn that card. We're digging Will deeper to actually having some action here. Lots of cards in hand, but facing down an Ajani, Prismatic Ending is quite a clean answer to it, but we need to have the Prismatic Ending. Solitude, Fatal Push. They can clean up these Cat Warriors. They can't deal with this Ajani, and they definitely can't deal with this Goblin Bombardment that we're looking at. So it looks like an Emperor of Bones. I think there's a Philia in there. So Will has some game. He has some actions that he can be taking. Starting with a Bone Man. I assume that'll be taking away the Flage. Now that is a clean answer.
That's a nice outcome for you as well if you are exiling it and then just pinging away.
So Will, just checking his own graveyard here. We can exile the Flage. Is just going to put the Quantum Riddler underneath it. So the Riddler does gain haste off of Emperor of Bones. So this is a way for Will to draw the extra card off the Quantum Riddler and still attack down the Ajani. But both the Cat Warriors being sacrificed to the Goblin Bombardment, stopping the adapt happening. So the Quantum Riddler should be exiled. Yes, thank you, Will. But the Quantum Riddler doesn't come back because we never placed any 1/1 counters on the Emperor of Bones.
Yep.
Ajani's still live. Flickerwisp, Psychic Frog, and Thoughtseize in hand for Will by the looks off the very brief little peek I got.
We didn't Thoughtseize. We had the mana, but we didn't Thoughtseize. Is it
Might be an admission to not wanting to fuel Flage.
or go to 11 as well?
Yeah, might also be the life total consideration, where dropping down to 11, there's an active Ajani, there's a Goblin Bombardment, we would be under some pretty serious threat. Could also just be leaving up this Relic activation.
Yep.
You're making sure you're getting rid of that Flage, you're drawing an extra card. The Surveil putting an extra land into the graveyard, that's not really going to matter too much. 3 mana. This could be a Fable, could be a Seasoned Pyromancer. I doubt it's a Flage. It's another Flage, so we are just going for a burn plan here. So Flage plus the Goblin Bombardment activation, that's going to be 4 damage. Will's going to go down to 9. And we're going to 0 Ajani, and that's an extra little point just off of that, because we do control a red permanent in Goblin Bombardment. So this Relic's going to be able to eat 2 Flages.
Which, good timing from Will. Like, ultimately...
It's an okay result given the situation that we're in.
Just the thing with Thomas's clock, like if you don't deal with this board or get some presence, like you're getting pinged for what? Like you're getting pinged every turn for at least 6?
Well, it's at least 1 off the Ajani, and then even if you're answering the creature, that's getting sacrificed to the Goblin Bombardment. So an absolute minimum, it's 2 damage every single turn. And you need to answer a 2-1.
Murktide, that is one hell of a niche but fantastic spot. I'm not going to lie. Like Hollywood Undead Dove and the Grenade Ink. Like, that's...
Shout out Hollywood Undead, old emo Dave.
I was saying, like, the fact that
pretty on brand.
Old 42-year-old does know what you're talking about.
So we are firing off the Thoughtseize now. Will starting to come into a desperation zone by the looks. Which enchanter can answer that Goblin Bombardment? But Ajani's still going. No red permanent at present, but Tom does have some cards in hand. Hasn't been playing a land every single turn, so I would highly doubt that it's just going to be lands in hand.
Yeah, a little won't be as taxing.
There is a world with Boros Energy where you can hold an extra card, an extra land in hand, if you are going to draw a Fable. So Seasoned Pyromancer, it doesn't matter if you discard, you're always going up on cards, right? But Fable, you do need to discard the cards to draw the cards, so there can be an argument for holding that useless 5th land in the hand if you are to draw the Fable.
I love that Murktide is just literally like just an appreciation of, you're one of us. Like, as no one from back in the day grinding, my eyes.
Back in the day, eyes ain't that good. Never have truer words been spoken.
That's fantastic.
So, Emperor of Bones here for Will.
What's he getting? What's he hitting? Like, what are we dealing with here?
We're off the back of a relic being cracked here, so it might be... Yeah, Emperor just taking the Seasoned Pyromancer that was taken off of that Thoughtseize. So... a reasonable get, in all honesty. Even if you just want to cycle some cards, make some extra elementals, it is a way that you can threaten the Ajani. Flickerwisp, I assume this is going to be targeting the Cat Warrior token.
Yep.
Yeah, flicker the Cat Warrior away, pass the turn. So there is still an active Ajani, but no red permanent. Will looks like he might be stabilizing at 6 here.
Yeah. The thing being, does Will have a Solitude? I think I see one. I think they're one of those, because he's on the ult at Solitude, right? So
I think that's Flickerwisp and a Psychic Frog.
Okay.
So an Ocelot Pride played out of hand. That's okay with the Ajani, but +2ing the Ajani, I think just an admission that it is going to be under threat next turn.
Yeah,
anyway.
I'm going to put up a wall and try and... Oh, okay. They don't get that back, though, right? They just goes to exile.
Yeah, so Galvanic Discharge answers the Emperor of Bones, just a Flickerwisp on board, which makes the +2 on the Ajani even more prudent. It's definitely not going to go down, and we end up with a 2/2 Ocelot Pride. Obviously, modern counters on Ocelot Pride are more valuable. It has both First Strike and Lifelink.
Yeah.
If anyone's ever heard Flample said, First Strike is First Strike and Lifelink. The same way.
We should do like a rundown of Magic words that exist because of Magic, like Frample, Frink, and
Death Trample. That sounds like a black metal band.
It does.
It's like Death Clock. It's my cover band for Death Clock. Death Trample. So, Psychic Frog played out of hand. Flickerwisp hitting the Ajani. Ajani's not going to be going down next turn very easily either. We might need to jump the Psychic Frog as well, especially if this gets plussed again. Another Flicker Wisp. So Flicker Wisp on his own Flicker Wisp, move to the end step, and I assume that's going to flick the Ocelot Pride out of the way.
Yep.
So doing double duty, you're removing the Ocelot Pride as a threat on that turn specifically.
You're also like dealing with the cat that could be problematic with Ajani stuff.
Yes, so +2ing Ajani is now less valuable pretty significantly because you're not putting a 1-1 counter on anything at present, and you're also getting rid of the 1-1 counter that was already there. So probably the best draw here is another Ajani, but no, just zeroing the current Ajani to make a 2-1. Move to end step and the Ocelot Pride comes back. So Will untapping, and Will is now in a pretty commanding position on this board. One of these Flicker Wisps is going to deal with the Ajani. The other one could start cracking in. Tom is still at 20.
Yep, absolutely is.
Flages.
There's a lot of turns left for Will to need to win. Like there's and out of nowhere, Boros Energy can do a thing.
Yeah, so Will just needs to stay as safe as possible, essentially. Obviously, we could live in a world where we just see Flage into Flage off the top, and then that ends up just killing him.
Yeah. No graveyard.
Another land from Tom, but only one Surveil land on the battlefield at present, so we could potentially go get another one. Ocelot Pride and the Cat Warrior coming in.
So the Frog can value trade?
Yeah, I think the admission here is, first of all, you can use Galvanic Discharge and protect your Ocelot Pride, so you can still gain the life and get the trigger out of the Ocelot Pride from dealing damage in combat.
Do we know that that's Galvanic Discharge, or is that what's being represented?
We don't. That's just something that I've seen Boros do, along with the first strike from Ocelot Pride.
Will's talking to themselves, and I think he's about... Yeah. I think he's I kind of just knows the line that we're talking about here.
Okay, so Solitude out of hand...
Just on the
Ocelot Pride, probably. Oh, okay, on the 2-1 Cat Warrior. So they
don't gain any life.
Well, they gain the 2.
They gain a 2 because of the back, yeah.
Oh, and then double block as well, which makes the Galvanic Discharge way less valuable if that is what is in hand.
Looks like it.
So you can still Galvanic Discharge, deal with this Frog. Yeah. Or beautiful play from Will to play the Solitude and double block there. Really insulated himself against this Galvanic Discharge nicely. So the Psychic Frog has been dealt with, but the Solitude is going to eat that Ocelot Pride, and that's doing double duty, because not only has it killed the Ocelot Pride, but Will has also gone back up to 9.
Yeah, that was...
9 is a lot safer than 6 against a Flage.
Considering this is round 8 of a long day.
That is a really heads-up play.
That was some smart magic, the gathering.
It's simultaneously smart from Tom to play the way he did and pressure Will in the exact way where if he didn't have the Solitude, he was going to be in pretty dire straits, but also Will being able to play around it and really nicely negotiate it and nullify the impact of the Galvanic Discharge itself.
Yeah, fair play. That's something to talk about at a later date, that one, I'm pretty sure, about playing correctly.
Yeah, that's such an in-depth thing, though, that's also respect from Will.
Yeah,
to Tom.
Yeah, that you're probably doing this thing
because you have a Galvanic Discharge. Yeah. This is why you're attacking in this way. But then you get into the meta of what are these players capable of?
Yeah.
Is he throwing that Ocelot Pride away just to get 2 damage in with a Cat Warrior?
Oh, a Flage, though.
Flage is pretty nice. Will is back up to 12 from the attacks, but the Flage is going to deal with the Solitude. And I think we have enough cards in graveyard at this point to escape the Flage. So if that was to come back, it's going to start tearing through these Flicker Wisps.
Yeah, that really does change things. Like Will's going to go in, yes, put them to 10, but what's the follow-up? Like,
I think there's a Psychic Frog in hand. Psychic Frog and a basic Plains, I think.
But we're tapping, or we're lining up 3 mana.
I think that's a Fatal Push, potentially.
Yeah, because there's lines to just die here from hand. Yeah, checking it out again, like quite correctly. Like there's no Arena of Glory on Tom's side, no. So
no, but generally, what happens with Boros is in these situations, as Will pointing at Tom's library and laughing, I feel like there was a There's an Arena of Glory there, isn't there?
Okay. Not insta flipped, so that's excellent.
Guide of Souls is pretty nice though. It's going to be an extra life point.
Yeah, like you're happy enough. You're happy enough as a backup to now go the Guide of Souls into that.
Just being
good. That's good.
Being able to spend all of your mana is just really nice. There's every chance that was like a Thraben Charm or whatever. Where fair enough, it's a good card. It's looking pretty good on this board even presently. But just being able to spend all of your mana, play all your cards, you get the extra point of life. You're going to be threatening a jump at some point.
They just put that to the dome as well, which is like shows you the
Send a message. Give them the business.
messages. Go to the dome.
Psychic Frog played out of hand and Marsh Flats.
Okay.
Flicker Wisp's getting in. So in the same way that Tom is going to the dome,
So as well.
so is Will.
I feel like this has to be Solitude or bust.
So Fetch Land Fatal Push is good enough as well. I believe there is a Fatal Push in Will's hand, so we can fetch Fatal Push the Flage as we go to combat.
Okay.
So we can prevent the trigger. The life totals have been tearing up and down
Yeah.
all game for these guys. So Tom is down to 8, Will is up to 9. So honestly,
Yeah, if we had one of those fancy bars, like back and 4 meters.
the advantage bar would just be going all over the place at this point. So both players at 8 life, we can jump this frog and give it a counter. So
Yeah.
currently we have a lethal flying army.
Lethal and this is a removal spell or a creature.
Even if it's a creature, if it's only one
Yeah.
body,
There you go.
you draw the card for turn, right? So you can discard the extra card to the Psychic Frog and deal 9 damage. So
Oh,
even
of
if it was a
course.
creature
Yeah,
to
yeah.
gain a life with the Guide of Souls, that was still lethal.
Cool.
Tom obviously knows what they're doing with Boros. They're 5-1-1 in this tournament. It's a long day and they're still playing really, really well. So I don't doubt that.
The Excel spreadsheet, aka Cyborg Guide, is out. That to me looks like a flexhot.gg printout. So, and not just even like the abridged printout, the really like in-depth one.
The full printout. Just send it on the information.
If you don't already do anything like a Cyborg Guide, or you've thought about what that means, look at Flex Slot, and I would highly advise have it open in another window next time you're playing on Arena or in leagues. And then, like, when you play a game against a particular deck and you do a particular Cyborg pattern and it works, or like it plays you,
Take a note.
Take a note that that's your plan. Next time you play the same matchup, try it again. If it worked, keep it. If it didn't work, change it. Have a plan. Like, the plan is all you need to have. It's not going to... Having a Cyborg Guide doesn't mean you're going to win a tournament automatically. Mug and Share is a great example of doing that. On the vlog on the channel, I went like 0-5. Because I just played the whole day because the whole team was there. But it definitely makes you a better player to know like how you're going to deal with the matchups that you see.
It's more than just knowing what cards to bring in and what cards to take out, though. Knowing what role you can be playing in these matchups can also be really important. So from Will's perspective, I assume we're going to see some amount of Celestial Purges being brought in this matchup, where that can help deal with the Flage. They're essentially going to act like prismatic endings, but at instant speed. So you can bring Wrath of the Skies in from the Blink side. Elesh Norn can sometimes come in these matchups as well to help Blink go massively over the top. But also you can shut down Ajani, enter the battlefields. A little bit risky. It does mean your opponent can play a 3-mana Flage for free, and they just get to keep it. They don't get the enter the battlefield trigger, and you do have a 4/7. But it can be good in some situations. I'm probably not brave enough to bring those in. And it looks like Will does actually have an extra fatal push in the sideboard as well. So I'd assume we'd see that coming in as well.
Oh, absolutely, in this matchup. Not a shadow of a doubt.
With that in mind and what we were just talking about, if you're boarding in Wrath of the Skies, Fatal Push, potentially an Elesh Norn,
yeah,
you are becoming a control deck by doing that. You're bringing in Wraths, you're bringing in interaction. Yes, you're still going to be playing Phelias and Overlord of the Belmerk and Quantum Riddler and these sorts of things that are going to demand answers from the Boros deck, but you are functionally taking a bit of a backseat between Ketramos and Relic of Progenitus, Emperor of Bones, these sorts of things. You really have the ability to go long and grind really well. So if we can not die to a quick start from Ocelot Pride and Guide of Souls, or a flip to Johnny with a Goblin Bombardment and stabilize with at least a reasonable life total, then we're going to be in good shape. We're going to be drawing lots of cards. Overlord of the Belmerk's going to be ticking over, and we hope it doesn't get Thraben Charmed. We don't know Tom's exact list. This is a closed Decklist tournament. Decklist will be posted after the event, so keep an eye on the Melee link.
And we can probably say we'll go with Stock Boros versus Stock Blink. And
It seems to be...
what we're reading into it.
It seems to be mostly stock from both sides, but lots of shortcutting happening. But a Guide of Souls played on turn 1 for the Boros player and a Prismatic Ending answering it from Will Hall on the draw as well. So no messing about, just getting rid of it, getting it gone there and then. So we are in a position where we could neutrate quite a fast start. We aren't going to see Guide and plus Guide Pride or Guide plus Pride.
Guide into Pride is hell of a drug.
It's some may call it a combo, but it's certainly a powerful interaction. Being able to just draw roughly 1 billion cards over and over and over again. But Goblin Bombardment is played out nice and naked there on the table, but no creatures to speak of. So we could just see it Prismatic Endinged. You can see it Celestial Purged, but we're just going to impend on Overlord. Pick up the Philia. That's pretty nice. It's the wrong way to do it. You want to play the Philia on 2 and then impend the Overlord on 3 so you can flip it immediately. But if you didn't have the Philia, picking one up in this way is absolutely fine. I would assume after not a week turn 2, obviously getting the Goblin Bombardment out there was very nice for Tom, but no threat on turn 2 to speak of, no creature, no Ajani, that sort of thing. I would assume there's going to be some interaction.
Ooh, there's Blood Moon.
There's the Blood Moon. So
good.
All the blue cards in Will's deck are now turned off.
Yeah, good sequencing for Will though to like fetch around that.
Yeah, Will obviously going in eyes wide open about the existence of Blood Moon in some of these Boros decks. For a long time, they moved away from playing them. Full stop. They're now back to playing them. Some of them even playing the main board.
Will actually owns those Blood Moons from last year's experience. That was their card of like their one of main clutch play that they had going on.
We did see that from the last Mega Modern, where the one Blood Moon in the main was getting people. So Tom with the Guide of Souls is a follow up.
Guide of Souls Ajani, Guide of Souls Ocelot Pride. It just you wanna see them gain a bit of momentum back here, because what we do know is Will can cast things and Will can get rid of that Blood Moon eventually.
Philia can even blink the Blood Moon out. If you're really desperate for coloured mana, you can attack with a Philia, blink the Blood Moon out.
Yeah, and is they're going to double fetch, and like
that's a Godless Shrine and a Marsh Flats.
It's a Godless Shrine and a Marsh Flats.
Yes.
Wow.
But I think it's more likely here that the Philia attack will just blink the Overlord of the Belmerk. Just confirming how many cards Tom has in hand as well. If we see a Thraben Charm here on an Overlord in response to the target, that can be a little bit detrimental. But yeah, Philia getting rid of the Blood Moon temporarily.
Maybe that's the thought process there, is like I could glass cannon myself here by trying to do this, but I can set myself up for you having answers. Because why
Two
would you,
planes in your Psychic Frog deck.
why if you had any of the impactful creatures on Tom's side, why would you hold 3 mana open? I just don't think you do. And now Boggart Trawler getting dropped out is quite substantial. And like ultimately, if Thraben Charm was being held, like now it's like cool. You can destroy my Belmerk, but my board's good.
Yeah. So the Blood Moon going away does allow Tom the opportunity to fetch here and get an Elegant Parlor, just to get an extra Surveil in.
This is where the Ben Jones effect happens, and it's always a Flage.
Not leaving anything on the table here. If this is a Flage on top, then we could see the game get a little bit interesting, but obviously Bogman has come down and exiled the graveyard away, so there's no fuel for that to speak of. Did leave the card on top as well, so likes the one that's there. Blood Moon is active. Both players with 2 white sources.
Let's go, Tom. Hello, Soleil. We thank you for following, by the way. We will go through some followers. We don't have obviously the pop-ups on because we're trying to keep the coverage for later videos. But I think after this we'll have a big old shout out for followers for the day. And if the followers are still in the chat, why not? We'll whack you some play points as well. We'll pick one of you out for that.
So we were right. There was a Thraben Charm sitting in Tom's hand. So that was Flage targeting, or Flage.
That's my guy. Although, sorry, it's all in capital. That's my guy! That's what we're seeing there. The thing is, I think that's a very stereotypical Magic the Gathering moment, right? We can allow this. Has anybody asked? We haven't asked Will this yet, Wired. The likelihood is probably, because that's what happens, just to tilt him.
So the Flage was pretty nice. It dealt with Will's entire board in the end there, along with the Throban Charm. Voice of Victory is a follow-up. Now we get to see the beauty that is a Voice of Victory and a Guide of Souls absolutely going nuts together.
This becomes gas.
Yeah, so the way this works is Guide of Souls is a trigger that creates a separate delayed trigger. So you can attack with both of them. You stack the triggers, so there's Guide of Souls, and then Voice of Victory's attack trigger is above it. So you resolve that first, you get the Mobilize 2.
Yeah.
You get 2 extra energy, gain 2 extra life, and then you can use that energy that you gained to give someone 1 counters and flying. But no attacks just yet. Will's playing another Overlord, and we do have an Overlord coming off of him pending soon as well.
That's a good hit.
There might be a world where we just need to take the Solitude here. Leaving Guide and Voice of Victory to just go ham together is generally not a winning recipe.
No, it doesn't feel good, does it?
So I think so we're picking up the Witch Enchanter. This is probably just to deal with the Blood Moon, although dealing with the Goblin and Bombardment is also pretty important here because that's the other combo in this deck with Voice of Victory is the Mobilized tokens with Voice of Victory is very nice. It's giving you loads of bodies that you can throw around with the Bombardment as well.
Yep. So the thing being, you go in here to just the Naked Balemerc. You are going to lose the Voice of Victory. So I think you want to do it. I think they're going to do it as well.
So what's happening here is Tom's going to attack, create 2 soldiers, and the Guide of Souls is going to jump the Voice of Victory out of harm's way.
Right.
The two warriors get eaten, but Tom still achieved the City's Blessing because right now, 10 permanents.
Yeah.
So that Voice of Victory has gone up to a 3/5 flyer, and it's going to continue to crack in every single turn. I assume the warriors are just going to get eaten by the blocks. However, when we move to the end step, we will be making 2 cat tokens, not 1.
Yeah.
You won't make any warriors, even though you've created them this turn.
They just
because
go around.
Exactly. The Ocelot Pride needs to see the warriors still on the battlefield to then make a duplicate of them. So, little one for you guys playing Magic Online and playing Boros Energy, if you're just getting into the modern format on Magic Online, make sure to stack your end step triggers correctly, where you put the Ocelot Pride trigger to resolve first and the Sacrifice trigger on the Mobilized tokens to resolve last, which allows you to double them, but also you can throw them to that Goblin Bombardment before it resolves as well. So an active Balemerc, I assume we're going to see at least that attacking here. So the trigger.
They do the thing.
Another Wrath of the Skies gets milled, so that's 2 of them in the graveyard now. Solitude, Psychic Frog. Flicker Wisp is the pickup.
Why are you taking Flicker Wisp here?
You can reset the Voice of Victory. You can just Flicker Wisp a cat if you want to, or you can reset your Impended Overlord. So you can Flicker Wisp, flick your own Overlord, go to the end step, and then pick up the Solitude anyway that you might have been picking up off of that Overlord trigger. So Will just making sure to maximize literally every part of the Buffalo here, trying to get every single piece of interaction, every single option available. Solitude is the pickup. Will just having a quick peek. So Voice of Victory doesn't say sorcery speed only. It just says during your turn, your opponents can't cast spells. So while we're in Will's end step, if he wants to Solitude this Voice of Victory, he has to do it now.
Massive.
There is a Catchamos in hand as well.
Absolutely massive. This feels like the swing moment where, like, if Will resources this right, they can take back control. And if they don't, then Thomas also just runs away.
Yeah, so there was a huge amount of this game revolving around Ocelot Pride, Voice of Victory, and Guide of Souls all being on the battlefield at the same time. If this Solitude is to resolve, and I assume exile the Voice of Victory, I think Will is just deciding whether to take the Voice or take the Guide of Souls here.
Yeah.
Game 1 was won by Will Hall. So you can actually look just up the top of the screen by the life totals. We've got a 1 next to Will Hall and a 0 next to Tom Mason. That is the game record. And just below that, you can see that Tom is 5-1-1. Will is 5-2. So playing, we think, potentially for a top 16 here. This is the final Swiss round of 8.
Yeah.
And after this, we have a top 8. And then 9th through 16 get their own chocolate top 8.
Yeah.
So
we haven't decided what we're following yet. We are basically staying to the end. I think our ideal is that we at least see the final of the event. But again, we've got to obviously go with like judge movements. So ultimately, they're going to need a judge up here full time when they're in the top 8. So if they might move the top 8 up here, which obviously changes things. So we'll keep an eye on all that. We'll keep you updated. We intend to be here till the end, like we do tomorrow. We will be following the Modern for goodies,
following yours truly,
following Scott themselves, and in this, like, I think Tom's number one fact. Leo, I love you. I'm glad you're here, Tom. Tom is wonderful. They are 5-1, and they are doing well today.
So the Solitude dealt with the Guide of Souls, and the follow-up was an Ajani. So nice position to be in.
That is an army of cats.
So 2 Overlord of the Belmerk triggers.
Yeah, Will won game 1. The most wonderful, interesting. Because we've been quite deep into here. It'd be interesting if this game goes close to time. What happens to find out where everyone's going to be at.
Will did turn around straight up and say to me, middle of round 5, 6, I'm here for the points. So purely for the invitational
For the points.
Tom's wife.
It's Tom's wife.
Has told Saleu that they're not the number 1 fan.
Tom's wife.
I reckon.
I want to see Tom's wife Twitch account. So follow
Tom's wife.
Look at our drink a beer per win guy is also there with another beer in hand. They might have come back from 0-2 to be like 6-2 in chocolate top 8.
And 6 pints deep.
They'll be 6 pints deep.
Half blind.
That will be incredible if that's the outcome.
So Solitude being cast here, I assume we're going to be another Solitude for the Voice of Victory. So Tom is up to a healthy 26 in terms of life total.
Yeah. And these 1-1s become pesky, right? Like, that's the...
If we see a Goblin Bombardment off the top here, the game might be getting close to over, in all honesty, which feels ridiculous when Will Hall has a board that costs, what's that, 22 mana in total? So 22 mana of permanence.
And it's about 19 damage.
Yeah, completely unblock that's 18.
18.
But we have some cats.
The cats are going in.
These are 2-1s, I believe, these ones. So I think there's, just trying to discern the tokens, there seems to be cats with swords in their mouths and cats without swords in their mouths, and the ones with swords in their mouths are 2-1s.
Sure.
That seems to be the designator. So Voice of Victory is the follow-up. 2 Overlord of the Belmerk, they're going to continue grinding here. Thomas at 26.
Yikes.
But we have 2 Overlords cracking in. We're leaving the Flickerwisp back on blocking duty. So first trigger.
Yeah. Well, it's respecting...
we might just be picking up another Solitude here, in all honesty.
Probably just needing to have ways to stop this Ocelot Pride continuing to recycle the board.
Yeah. And picking up at least 1 Solitude, potentially even 2. But it's not looking good for Tom.
The Wolverine... Appreciate you so much for continuing to sub to the Will Hall channel. We've had that pop up. It won't pop up on screen, apologies, but
we notice you.
We notice you, we respect you, and thank you for supporting everything that happens here.
Yeah, White Tap and chat making a fair point. At some point, Will is going to have to stop attacking with these Overlords, lest they mill out.
That's quite you can see quite a chunk of cards in the graveyard there.
Will has already been milled out once today. Did beat the mill player in the end, but they've been milled out once today. Let's not make it 2.
And let's make it the milled out not by design to not be the thing that happens.
So the extra Solitude is going to exile that Voice of Victory.
Feels correct, even though like you hate to see the
and a Bogman to deal with the graveyard. So even if we see a Flage, it's just not going to be good enough. Will is back up to 11, so a nice healthy life total. Some reasonable attackers in these 3-1s, but that Ocelot Pride needs to be dealt with first before...
Fable's pretty good, but maybe not enough.
Yeah, Fable is a nice start. It's going to really...
There's been a how many count. Will is on about 9. So I think some realization here,
Yeah, just absolutely can't attack with
Will
the
ain't
Overlord
attacking.
Sentinel.
Will ain't attacking with these Bale Mercs, I tell you.
So this Flicker Wisp is still going to crack in. The Solitude can still attack. We can't attack with the Boggart Trawler. It will just be eaten by that Ocelot Pride.
Yeah. So a tricky setup and a tricky...
There's a Wrath of the Skies in hand for Will. That's
So-
white.
Wrath for 1?
Wrath X is 1. Oh, hello. Tom has no cards in hand. We could see Wrath X equals 1 and then kill Tom in one go with no cards left in library.
Yeah.
So this is going to kill the Ocelot Pride and the cat tokens, and then Will can attack and win with 0 cards in library. The Balemerc triggers didn't even matter. Yeah, we might have no cards in library, but we didn't try and draw from an empty library, therefore we don't lose. So Will taking that one down moves to 6 and 2. Tom ends up at 5, 2 and 1. Still a really respectable performance, in all honesty. Tom obviously knows what he's doing with Boros. You can see that. He's got his custom tokens. He knows how to play this deck, and it just didn't quite line up for him there.